This is We All Be News and Radio.
Ron Hurd, get up out of bed. Let's go. Let's go. Ron Hurd. That's the word. Get out of bed. Give me a jingle. My number 051. Get out of bed. Let's go. Don't be afraid. This is Herb Smith calling you. Herb Smith. All right, I know you're famous and all that kind of stuff, but let's go. Get out of bed.
Welcome back, family, to another wonderful edutainment edition of the Artivist Presents We All Be Radio. I'm your host for the empowerment segment, R2C2HU the Artivist, also known as Brother Ron. And thank you once again for another new year and a lot of great shows on the way. Like I always say, the best is yet to come. But actually, the best is here right now today, because we got none other than the most honorable, most prolific host and guest of We All Be Radio, none other than Brother Baba Dick Gregory. Are you there today, sir?
God bless you, my brother. Peace and love, and Happy New Year to you and all your listeners. And thank you again for being out there with that few folks that's able to keep the government on its toes to hide what they're doing. Because you've been out here as long as I have and realized you were just dealing with NBC, CBS, and ABC. They had a walk in the park.
Yes,
and now they got folks out here that they're going to have to start putting people out here making like they clean. But so many people out here now, it won't take long to weed them out. So, again, I thank you and all the brothers and sisters that are out here dealing with truth. Thank you.
It's an honor to have you on. It's like people already lighting up the switchboard. They got questions for you. I actually want to introduce you to a sister out in L.A. This is a fan of yours for a long time. She's a good sister. She got some information she'd like to share with you before we get started. And the other thing, I'm going to put her on right now. None other than Dr. Lisa. Are you there, Doctor?
Hello, can you hear me?
So we can hear you. How you doing today?
Good. God bless you. Peace and love.
Hello, Professor Greg. How are you?
I am fantastic and getting better.
Wonderful. Stay blessed and continue to elevate. I'm just Laird. No Dr. Laird necessary, but for whatever reason, Brother Ron wants to address me that way, which is fine. I spoke to your friend Theodore, and I told him I was looking forward to speaking with you. But first off, really quick, because I know people are waiting to talk to you, I wanted to say thank you, first off, because I'm 41 years old, and I came to know about you when I was 10. I was very, very obese. Yes, and you've been around for so long, that might not seem like a while for some people, but that's a long time for me. So, because when I was 10, I was obesely overweight, and my uncle's girlfriend was selling some product called not Slim Safe, but Dick Gregory's Bohemian Diet. And everyone kept telling me, oh, don't worry about it, it's just baby fat, it'll go away. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I don't know too many babies who have a weight issue, and then two, I'm going to stay to the prom. So I would take a scoop of that and put it in a baggie for breakfast, another scoop, and put it in a baggie for lunch at school. And then I would come home and have a half an avocado with beans, pinto beans mixed in it, and my body was tight and straight and together and still is, and I've been a vegan and didn't know that I was a vegan then, and still am this day. And I just want to say thank you so much for making me understand at a very early age the difference between nutrition and being healthy versus, oh, that tastes so good.
Yeah. You know, well, what they do is they spend trillions of dollars making people eat for taste and not for nutrition. But, you know, trying to expect anything out of them that's good is like trying to expect anything out of Hitler and the Nazis. I don't know why we're so far out and don't understand. They're not there to help us. They're not there to do anything for us. They're there with their trillions of dollars of technology to do all the things they can and then take over. All you got to do is go by and look at what Hitler did. Scared the people. when they pulled that trick with September the 11th, and I saw thousands of white women coming through the airport with their shoes off. You understand? Precious white lady with their shoes off, like Japanese feet don't exist. Didn't you know we're at the same place Hitler was? Hitler and them burnt down Congress and said the communists did. It's the same pattern. They haven't changed anything at all. And so when you stop and think about now, what you're looking at is the number one cancer group in America is vegetarians. Why? Because you're not supposed to eat soybeans at all. Soybeans turn male hormones into female hormones. and you hear people say, wait a minute, I was born like, oh, that's what you think. That's why America, they have so many coming in at the same time. You got women that feed their babies soy milk when they're two weeks old. Huh? And so,
Professor Greg, I found out the hard way that
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I found out the hard way that the United States is the biggest racket they ever pulled off. The biggest racketeer has been education and water, because you have teachers paying for education to get up to a master's or a PhD, and they get jobs that they'll never be able to pay these loans back and live comfortably. I have a JD, and the loans are off the chain. I wish I had the money now that I put into education, and bottled water is really a scam.
But, Bill, let me ask you something. If you came to a hospital and I was a brain surgeon and I operated on you and killed you, and then you find out you folks find out I've never been to school, then what do you expect? I use that parallel to say these thugs never the number one money maker. Let me just ask you. The number one money making in America today, okay? Bigger than drugs, bigger than prostitution, bigger than the little girls stealing around the world, alcohol, gambling. The number one money maker is organ stealing. Okay? And so you look at drive-by shootings, most of them shots is in the head. So how you going to get in a car and shoot me in the head when you can't aim while the car is moving? That's what this is about, and it goes way back. Punch up a New York Times article. I don't have it with me now. It's down in the car. Punch up a New York Times article that talked about 44 arrests in Newark. Rabbis, mayors, politicians. Punch that up and look at it. And when you read that, you see that the ones that they arrested for organ stealing is processed by now Governor Christie. The most time they got was 2 years and 5 years probation. So what is he about? In the black community, you never very seldom hear black men refer to another grown man as a bully. When you see that in the white world, like they call him a bully, that's the code word for mob. And so this thing is so big, what they're looking at. Now you're going to start seeing people out there just coming up dead. And it's going to get bigger and bigger, and they might even kill him.
Well, yeah, you referred to Chris Christie, right, the governor of New Jersey?
Yeah, you might see him kill him and say he committed suicide. Who wouldn't believe it? Huh? And so... I'm
sorry, I had explained that to Brother Hurd when I was explaining to him about the young lady who's 13 years old, Jahai McMath, the one who they have taken off the life support, who had the tonsillectomy. Now, anyone who knows anything about medicine, because I worked in a hospital, knows that a tonsillectomy is an outpatient procedure, meaning you can go home hours later. She woke up from the procedure. After she woke up, well, let me rewind. The uncle said that she told him that she had a feeling that she wouldn't wake up. Okay, she's 13. She wakes up. She said her throat was hurting and she wanted a popsicle. Now, while all this is happening, Professor Greg, she is in ICU. What person, let alone a young, vibrant 13-year-old child with no health problems, needs to come and be in ICU after a tonsillectomy? One. Two, why is she still... They wanted her organ. I think they wanted her organ.
Wait, hold there. Let me tell you what it was, okay?
Okay.
First, she's a black girl, right?
Right.
They assume she has no money. Okay? So they called in an intern, a doctor who needed practice. That's why they wanted to get her off that thing and put her in the grave so fast, because if someone go in there and do an autopsy, they'll find what happened, what went wrong when they sent the intern in. And how you think, if you was a doctor in the hospital and you just graduated and just, how you think you get your practice? That's what that was about. That's why the whole thing was so fast on them wanting to get her off that, let her die, and then we bury her. And I'm sure they'd have gave the money to the parents to do this and do that. There's so much tricky stuff going out here now. You just have to really look at... Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And then after that, after all that came to fruition, the attending, like you said, it was the intern. The attending physician is the one now who's in the forefront speaking. And the attending physician is now... And this is what he said, and I quote, he said, this girl, they keep calling her the body. They refuse to say her name. They say the body has been sent to the coroner, and no amount of prayer or medicine can resurrect this body. I mean, they're trying to play on our sympathy.
Well, wait. If you got secrets in your house, what do you think a white, racist, insane system that, what do you think they would do? Huh? It's not about racism. It's about a whole racial piece to control the whole world, and they're doing it. Black folks is 97% of the world's population. Non-white folks, black folks is 3%. Control the whole planet because they come together. The Russians work with when they was after Paul Robeson communist. He go to Russia, they communist. When they messed Paul Robeson up, he was in a hotel in Russia, turned on TV, they zapped him through the TV. That's Russia in America. You know? And so when we look at white supremacy, all these people seeing unidentified flying objects, and all of them come and testify and they say, you lying, you didn't see that. Why? Because once we have to admit there's aliens, white supremacy go out the window. Organized religion go out the window. There's no way my grandmother have anything in her head to let her believe there could be a Baptist on Mars. And worse than anything, we'd become earthlings. We'd be earth people. There wouldn't be no California, New York, or Germany, or Africa. It'd be earth people. And that's what this is all about. But they're not going to get away with it because there's too much going on now. There's a new group of people that started being born in 1985 called indigo children. We sitting here waiting on the second coming of Christ. You better check out them indigo children. They born with IQs of 200 and go up. Then after that came the crystal, and now this year come the fifth child. So they're in trouble. They're dealing with stuff they can't deal with. They're dealing with stuff that their bums don't work with. And that's what this is about. And that's where it's going. And so, again, it's been going on for a long time. But we didn't have radio shows like what you on now. That's going all over the world. And can people hear you and hear the honesty and the integrity in your voice? And so this is where we are, and this is where this is going. And nobody likes to give it up. Nobody give me that.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fall back and go until you strike a nerve, and then I'll say something. So I'm going to fall back and be quiet and listen because I love to hear you speak.
Just so enjoy and just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep looking and hearing and seeing things. Huh? And then a lot of stuff you hear on radio shows like this here, you hear the government answering to it by a press statement they make, not directly to the show. Here, me and my brother, we've been talking about all the information that's being leaked through Snowden.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Ask yourself a question. Hold it 1 second, 1 minute.
Thank you, Ron.
Ask yourself a simple question.
Mm-hmm.
If someone goes in a bank and rob it, and 3 people's killed, and the police get there and the FBI get there, first they want to know, was anybody else involved? Is this a loan or is this more people? When all the top information they claim was stolen, they never asked the question, did Snowden do it by himself? Oh, did he do it by himself? So we've been saying, wait a minute, hold. If you go back and look up the date that the president was supposed to meet with the head of China in California, they said the one question we're going to ask is about cyber stealing. How much stuff they stole from us? How much of our documents do they have? And we're going to ask the Russians that too. So that morning, when they're supposed to meet at noon, it was a shootout. I don't know if it's San Diego or Southern, at a school. And then they found out that the guy that was doing the shooting, he left his house after he killed his mother and father, and that the shooting at the school had nothing to do with it. They was covering up something. Well, that's what they was covering up, to create all that trauma out there. And then all at once, Snowden released that information, and there was no way the president could ask the Chinese head of state about that. We were so embarrassed. So now they saying, well, wait a minute, he was a Russian. Hey, come on, y'all. Wait a minute. We've said on this show that, first, where is he getting his money to have lawyers? Where is he getting his money to have aides? Where is he getting his money to push a button and he can have a press conference about America? Okay? The Russians and the Chinese probably paid him big bucks to take that stuff that they got and make it look like he stole it. Out of all the places you're going to go hide, why would you go hide in Russia? Why would you go hide in Russia? And so now they're coming out and say, oh, he's a Russian spy. Oh, is he? Well, that should say something about you in your top secret place in the history of the planet. A little young punk Russian spy can get in there with no training. And so when you look, but that's what happens when you're on your way down. The Russians, the Germans, Napoleon, the Romans, we're going the same way they went on the way down. We broke. We don't have no money. We spending just over there in Iran and that whole area. We're spending $1 million a second. Okay, but listen. You don't need no education to see what happened. In the history of planet Earth, every mighty army that ever invaded Iraq. Okay? Not Iraq. I'm trying to think of the other one now.
Iran?
No, not Iran. Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, okay.
They never came out of there. Think about that. In the history, Napoleon, the Romans, everybody went in there and couldn't come out. But that white supremacy, that old thug mentality, you know, they think they can do it. Oh, come on, man. The rest of y'all was crazy. We'll go in and come out. And I look at them.
Yep.
Look at the Americans that's been killed. And now It's a mess over there.
Well, Brother Gregory, let me ask you this, though. I'm looking at this year will mark the 100th anniversary of World War I, which was started on June 28, 1914. And we're having issues with the Winter Olympics, people talking about terrorism. Mm-hmm. And, in that area, that's where World War I started, in the Balkans and stuff like that.
Sure.
Do we think we're headed for a world war this year? And you think that's possible? Because you're talking about all this stuff going on in the Middle East?
It is. They'll be doing it by themselves, These young folks are too hip to do that anymore. They're not about to get caught up in that. Mm-hmm. And the drones can't think. No, it's the financial thing. There's few people that can afford war. Mm-hmm. And so this is where it's going. It's over. When you're 9 months pregnant, you're too late to abort. And that's where we are. And you got people coming out. Listen, we were stupid enough to believe in the 40s, 50s, and 60s that the Ku Klux Klan determined public policy. Most of them couldn't even read. Most of them never gone to school. The schools they've gone to, nobody ever heard of them. So how do that white trash determine public policy? White businessmen in America are the most powerful men on the planet. You mean they're going to stand down and let the Tea Party do what they... No. They fronting all of that. And we blamed it on everybody else. So you never think it's the Attn, it's the American Airlines, it's Sears and Roebuck. We think it's them. We can keep the Russians. Now think about it. There's no way in the world the Russians is going to slip in this country and blow up a building. What would make you think some little punks that had never flown a plane before can do that? So now we spend trillions of dollars arming secret stuff. And when you hear these right-wingers, and I laugh when I hear right wing and left wing. Look at any bird or pigeon, and it's two wings, a left wing and a right wing. So take one of the wings off and see how it affects them. And so what happened is when you sit and you look at the right wingers and the left wingers, that's something that don't work. And so all of that stuff they doing now, talking all that old craziness, you can see it on the way down. The reason China hates Japan ain't got no army compared to China. Why they hate them? Because when the Japanese invaded them in 1933, they gave the Japanese soldiers instructions. When you get over there, don't kill none of the top flight military people. Every young boy you see with a tattoo on, blow their brains out. Because tattoo represent revolution. Well, walk down the street today and look what you see in America. Go to colleges today and look what you see with the tattoos and all of that. And we're getting to the point now where they don't want to admit there's a higher force than them. And there's a book been out for years called Chaos. Talks about the butterfly. And they got a butterfly park in Peking that right now the butterflies are flapping their wings in Peking determine what the weather pattern is going to be like in New York City 9 months later. And that hurts them to know that they don't have no power over it. That's why they keep inventing stuff. And it can't work. It's just no good. And so all you do is just watch and look, and you see it caving in.
Brother Greg, I want to ask you about this because you said something about tattoos. And I thought about tattoos in this country. I'm thinking about athletes and people's reactions to athletes, especially ones with tattoos. But also, I want to get your take on what happened last weekend with a brother named Richard Sherman, the quarterback for the Seahawks. The response to him afterwards, the backlash on social media and other places.
You see, it don't bother him, don't you?
Well, I couldn't hear you. What was the last part?
You see it's not bothering him.
Oh, no, sir. It seems like he's kind of pretty well.
Mm-hmm. You see how much space he gets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch this. What two cities are they playing in?
Seattle and Denver.
Huh?
Seattle and Denver. They're going to be playing in New Jersey, but Seattle and Denver.
Okay, no. What states?
Okay, Washington and Colorado.
Okay. What two states have legalized marijuana?
Washington and Colorado.
Okay.
High times, huh? Okay.
Now, let's go back and look at marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 82 this year, right?
Yes, sir.
All my life, especially my thinking life, when I'm 2-3 years old, I heard him talk about marijuana. Didn't know what it was, but I knew it was illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So all your life you knew marijuana was illegal. Then all at once something happened. They started talking about medical marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a little child, you know that in order to medical, you have to be sick. First it's illegal, then something had to be wrong with you. And then for Christmas holidays, they gave us recreation marijuana. Think about what the children now are hearing. When you walk past a prostitute house, you don't see the word recreation.
Right. Yeah.
And so all of it, when you put it together, you start seeing things. So here's a brother here. They can shut him down anytime they want. 90% of the people in America, 98% never knew he graduated from Stanford. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting all of this blow now, and nobody talked about that Syria in America is just about to make a truce.
Mm-hmm. We
don't hear that. Huh? And in the process of all of that, think about it. Every day there's a shootout on a college campus.
Mm-hmm.
And these aren't thugs. These aren't folks that got records. This mall, they had a shootout out this way down there. That's 30 miles from Washington. 20 miles from Washington. They got the guy, he don't have no record. The guns, they know all that. So, wait a minute now, hold it. See, you got all these right-wing white folks. Anytime there's a shootout, they sell more guns.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they say, the government going to take our guns. The government, they're going to take our guns, but they never say who. They never say who. They never talk about, wait a minute. And look at all the way down, man. And this is white folk business. That's why you don't see too many black folks involved in that. This mind control, man.
Well, if I ask you this, too, I mean, I could see you saying something about the incident with the ex-cop, the retired cop shooting the guy at the movie theater down in Florida. I mean, it was right before the Lone Survivor movie. And the guy who got shot, who was the victim, he served a number of years in the Navy. So what is that a false flag, too? What's going on with that situation?
All that. Look, let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you now?
I'm 33.
You never remember in the old days, you take a bunch of girls out?
Yes, sir.
Out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go to see a show or something. Go to a bar, a tavern, or where they have shows.
Mm-hmm.
And when the girls get up, I don't know why women always got up to go to the toilet at the same time. The guys would pull out their little half pints of gin and doctor up there.
Mm-hmm.
Because whether it works or not, we grew up believing that if you can get them high, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy pickings, huh? So we know you can put something in a drink. A lot of gamblers, a lot of crooks, they'll walk into a place where soldiers hang out and sit at the bar, and they put, like they call a Mickey in their drink. So they can get them to that strange way where they can shoplift and all that. But sometime I was at a military base where all these black cats was dying coming back to the camp, and we started looking at it. I had no authority to investigate. I started looking at it and found out that these guys at this one place everybody would go, they would drop it in their drink, but they didn't know according to your weight. According to your weight. So some of these guys, the stuff wouldn't affect them until they're on their way back to the base. and then they fall off. And so we know you can put something in the food. Well, they say if you got high blood pressure, don't eat what, salt?
Right.
So, well, you know, I can put something in your body to make your body react a certain way. So we don't know where. Was it on the popcorn? We don't know where he picked it up. Like these folks out here now doing all this shooting. There's something they putting on there. It could be in the air. You know what I'm saying? It could be that. We'll find it out one day. You know, in the black community, they drop manganese and lead every night. Once you get enough manganese, you'll kill your mama. Okay? And so that's what this is about. But because we don't know it, and see, when you're upset and you're looking at stuff, for instance, let's say I'm your son, right? And they call you and tell you your son has just been murdered by drive-by shooting. Now let's look at one thing about drive-by shootings. They're not in the white neighborhood. I mean, think about that. They're not in the white neighborhood. They haven't always happened. Okay? So what is this now that more black and white hang out together, but I'm doing one thing and they not? Now watch this now. So now a bunch of black men, no women, with them, black men, right? And so they drive by and they're not shooting nothing but men, huh? Well, what kind of integrity do these thugs have that's willing to shoot into a crowd of men to kill them, but they have some kind of integrity, they got respect for women, huh? Tell me about that, huh?
Yes, sir.
And so when you stop and think about it, they're mostly headshots, huh? Mostly headshots. The Chinese, a few years ago, when you were sentenced to die by a fine squad, they put a little target around your heart, and that's where they shot you. Now they shoot you in the head and harvest every organ below your neck. So if you're looking at the drive-bys, I know most of the bullets is going down. You mean the people doing the autopsies don't know the bullets is going down? This means they're coming from rooftops. Okay? Why men? Men's organs sell for more than women's organs. Okay? And I'll tell you something else about organs. You hear people talk about donors, people stand in line for 2 or 3 years. If someone special was coming by your house, family, and you were going to have a dinner for them before they go to Europe, you wouldn't go get no meat. I don't know why people buy meat at a grocery store. Why are you going to buy meat at a place that make more money selling bleach than selling pork chops?
Right.
The white folks with money, I'm not talking about all the white folks we see who believe they're white. White ain't a color, it's an attitude. And so these folks go to a butcher shop. So you go to the butcher shop and you get fresh lamb, fresh pork chops, fresh this, okay? It's the same thing with organs, man. If you get a fresh organ, you live 20 years longer. Folks that going to use stale one. And what they do, they go through the hospital. The hospital, you know, your bank you go to, you know how much drug money they launder. They don't know how much drug money they launder. So when you go there to get some money out to send your children to college, that might be laundered drug money. So when those organs come in, you got the hospitals, that buy them. And when you go get an organ, you're not aware that come out of somebody that they just killed.
Right.
Okay? And so this is what it's about. And when you turn to the government, if they part of it, how you going to shut it down?
Let me ask you about this. You talked about manganese and lead being dropped in the black community, but what about the situation with the water being contaminated in West Virginia? Was that an act of environmental terrorism? Was that a false flag? What was that about?
I haven't really looked at that too much. But they, like I said, when they white folks think they're right, they do it to anybody. You ain't never heard nothing like that happen with rich white folks. Let me give you something simple.
Right.
Let me give you something simple. You in Memphis, right?
Yes, sir.
Do it snow there?
Every now and then, yes.
And when it do snow, what do they do to the streets?
It makes them a mess to drive. I mean, like it gets, they got to put salt on stuff. I mean,
wait, slow up. They got to put what?
Salt on the street.
Salt, okay. Now, have you ever been in a white suburb where the folks got money?
Yeah, I've been out there before. Yes, sir.
When it snows, it's brown, right?
Okay.
They throw sand. Why? When you throw salt, the salt melts. The water melts. It gets in the water supply. So you got high blood pressure. You don't know. Let me tell you. Since they started using salt, the cities in the state that use salt, high blood pressure have increased 82%. From the salt that's in the water. When you go out where rich white folks live, it's brown. It's sand. This is what this is about. They never cared nothing about poor folks or poor white folks. White folks, they gave them a black person to play with. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And so there's more white folks on welfare than black folks. They don't know that.
That's why they came in with the EBT card, right? Because a lot of white folks, I know some white folks that live in nice homes down in Memphis, they got EBT cards. They don't have food stamps, they call them EBT cards now, I guess, for white people.
These white folks in college and black folks have food stamps in college.
Yes, sir.
So it's the whole game that they play, and we so busy. So anyway, go back to I'm your son, right? And they come and report to you, I've been murdered tonight, right? Now, imagine how shook up you are. But now, you have no jurisdiction over that body. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because murders, that goes into the coroner, right? When the coroner finish the investigation, then it's released to you. Or you might have to come in and identify me. That's all you do.
Right.
And when it's released to you, you never think about them cuts you see on me. You just think that was part of the investigation. They're taking out my organs. Okay? So when you send it, goes to the undertaker, a lot of undertakers say, "Oh man, I make this money," but they'd always here. They've even embalmed them for me, huh? And so when you look at the brother down there in Valdosta, Georgia,
Taker Johnson, yes sir.
Yeah, okay. Now you telling me he dead? He goes to the morgue. He goes to an undertaker, and they didn't see that newspaper stuff. That the undertaker didn't see he stuffed with newspaper and his organs are gone. Huh? And then the federal government comes in to be part of the investigation, and to this day, they had when they came in, they didn't say nothing about his organs was missing, huh? So how do you do it, huh? In Vegas, and I think y'all listeners should punch this up. And when you get off the show, you should punch it up too, brother.
Yes, sir.
In Vegas, you go to Vegas, and you sitting there enjoying yourself, and these three women sitting over across the bar, and they wink at you, and one of them come over and say, "Wow, you look just like a guy I was in love with when I was in high school." So the conversation starts up and up and up. And they say, "Well, come on, why don't you come over here and sit with us, you and your party?" So y'all go over, and next thing you know, I say, "Here, give us the bill." They take the bill, right? And that little pimp juice we all got in us. Wow, man, did you see that? You know. And then the next thing we go out, we go down to see a show. And the next thing you know, you wake up in the bathtub at the hotel. Now, the reason it's important to punch this up is for this reason. When you wake up, you're in a bathtub full of ice. And there's a phone there, and it says, "If you want to live, call this number, all your organs are gone. Now, the thing is, if you call the number, you mean the police don't know about what's going on there? The government don't know how come? But if you punch it up, you see it's been going on for years, okay? And so that's the game. And so, I mean, when I was a little boy, we go to movies, we see a thing called The Body Snatcher.
Right, yes, sir.
Well, that's what they doing now, except they don't want the body. Can you imagine what would happen if Harvard, Yale, MIT make a new discovery in the morning that nappy hair cures cancer? You know how many people would wake up with no head? So many black people be walking down the street with caps on with locks on them. The hottest selling thing in the black community would be Kink Quick.
I heard it. Well, that might be a good thing. It might be a silver lining. Boy,
we don't put the things together. Have you ever paid attention to the mummies in Egypt? How they go in, and they go in, University of Michigan go in, and then the investigation, it's not, now when they go in, open up the coffin, the hair is still growing. You aware of that?
Yeah, I know I guess your hair and your fingernails and stuff. Some stuff
okay, all right. Now what? Okay. So they can check that and find out what kings and queens was poisoned. Okay? If so-and-so was poisoned. He was king when he was 14 years old. He's poisoned then. Now, let me just say this. Now let's take it a step further. If the hair still grows, and they can find strychnine that you was poisoned with, right? Then all these women around here getting these wigs made out of real hair, whatever disease that person had gets transferred to you.
Oh, wow. Man, that's kind of like some poetic justice, I guess. Weird, there's a sad, sick joke. But speaking of curious, though, I'm curious about, some people are saying that Magic Johnson never had HIV or AIDS.
He never did, man. He never had. Look, Hey, there's a doctor that just wrote a book. You aware of it?
I know, so tell me about this book. I heard a little bit about the book.
His name is Dr. Peter Dewsbury, Duesbery. He's at the University of California in Berkeley.
Okay.
And he talks about that's a myth they playing. And the only reason he hadn't been fired, and this is the guy, I'll get some information, you need to call him and have him on the show. The only reason he hasn't been fired is why? Tenure. Tenure. And so I said way back then, and a lot of us knew, that they had caught Michael Jordan broke. Michael Jordan ain't got a quarter, man. That's a game they play. He's addicted to gambling. I had a friend of mine, Adam Bourgeois, told me 80 years ago, a priest told him, he says, anybody ever wipe out your family? Wipe out your family. Don't get a gun and go wipe out their family. Just pray to God they can become addicted to gambling. There is no addiction on the planet like gambling. And those of you out here that either been addicted to gambling or know somebody, then you know what that priest was talking about. And so the whole Chicago team was a bunch of thugs, throwing games and everything. So all at once now, it got out there, so they had to investigate Michael Jordan, right? In the process of investigating Michael Jordan, they found out that Johnson was doing the same thing in L.A. So the white folks sitting there, oh my God, this will kill basketball. So then here's what we do. Let's make a deal, whether they like it or not, that they get out of basketball, then the investigation stops. So they had, what's his name out of Michigan?
Magic.
Magic. They had Magic say he had AIDS. and got out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, how do you have AIDS and you keep getting fatter and fatter and fatter?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Now, Michael Jordan, they killed his father.
Mm.
Now, let me tell you, because I got into that investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And there was state troopers, man, that couldn't figure that out because the car was off the road. Brand new car.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan had bought for his daddy out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a card in the car from the dealer thanking Michael Jordan. That's still up on the dashboard.
Mm.
So they knew who that was. But if you go back and see how many days it took that he was missing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they find him. Now, let's watch this now. Let's take your time. Let's watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Now they find him. And Jordan says he's out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He can't handle it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's always wanted to play baseball, right?
Right.
So now he gives up $100 million gig to go play a game he can't even play.
Mm.
So that was to keep him in shape.
Mm-hmm.
So when he came back in, now remember, Magic was supposed to come back in, but Malone single-handedly stopped him, remember?
Yeah, Carl Malone, he won't play with him. Yeah, I remember that.
Because if he gets cut, that's blood, AIDS blood, right?
Right.
Okay, so now that's stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan was able to come back in.
Mm-hmm.
Never made it in baseball. But that's the game that they play, man.
Mm.
That's what that's about. So now I haven't had time to figure out why the Magic announced he never had it.
Mm.
Well, sure, those of us out here that's hip know HIV and AIDS is two different things.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first places I told people to be careful about, 90% of all the condoms is made in Alabama. I can think of the town. And I said, well, think about what they might be putting in AIDS, in the condoms. Plus, listen at this now.
Mm-hmm.
Condoms is made out of rubber.
Mm-hmm.
All rubber has holes in it. Too small to see with the human eye. If you put it under a microscope, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 microbes.
Mm.
HIV is 1 microbe. I mean AIDS, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that'll come through with 2 buddies on each end. So I used to get up on stage and I was doing my act and I said, now if y'all want to use it, put 2 of them on. And the odds of matching those holes is 0.
Mm.
And so they've been knowing that, but you go now and people talk about population explosion and all of that. They got a whole thing. Somebody had to go to court and sue and get this document that Kissinger came up with. It was under lock and seal like he was the president.
Mm.
And the people they had to take out was called useless eaters. They, when you got nothing to do, punch up. And you'd be shocked to see what that game is.
Wow. Now, I found the town. The town in Alabama is Eufaula. Eufaula is like EUFAULA, Alabama.
That might be next to it. That's the name of it.
Okay.
That's the name of it.
So I was looking at a Times article. They said condoms made in U.S. shape foreign aid policy. America's International Herald Tribune.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a story on this, like I guess the deal they made. It's in New York. It's online. Okay.
Yeah, well, it might be, but I'm saying it's I don't know if it's not Dothan. Yeah, it is. It's Dothan, Alabama.
No, I mean, you think it's Dothan, Alabama, not Eufaula? Well, I don't know how Eufaula.
Yeah, it's
like
Dothan,
Eufaula.
Dothan, Alabama.
Okay, Dothan, Alabama. Okay.
Yeah. And the gays, when they was using KY jelly, I told them all, I said, yo, stop that. What are they putting in it? Right? And Hitler did the same thing. Have you heard of the SS troops?
Mm-hmm.
Stormtroopers. Huh?
The stormtroopers.
Have you heard of the SA troops?
Mm-mm.
That's that elite group of homosexuals that put Hitler in power, and he was scared of them. And right there, just punch it up while you're sitting at your computer. Just punch up the SA troops.
The SA troops. Okay.
That Hitler wiped out. And you see a story, it's called The Night the lake turned red. He invited them to a party. They didn't see the machine guns. And or it's either called The Night of the Long Knives.
Oh, okay, I got you. Oh, okay.
You see anything?
I'm talking the night. You said The Night of the
Long Knives. And just the fact that nobody's ever heard of the SA troops.
Night of the Long Knives. You're right. It came up.
What's it say?
Let me see. A couple of things. I mean, the Night of the Long Knives, sometimes called Operation Hummingbird, or mistakenly sometimes in Germany, the Rome Push was a purge that took place in Nazi Germany between June 30th and July 2nd, 1954, when the Nazi regime carried out a series of political murders. Leading figures of the left-wing, Strasserist faction of the Nazi Party, along with its figurehead, Gregory Strasser, were murdered, as were prominent conservative anti-Nazis, such as Chancellor Kurt von Schleicher and Gustav Ritter von Kahr, who had suppressed Hitler's beer hall push in 1923. Many of those killed were leaders of the SA, the paramilitary brown shirts.
Yeah, let's hold it for 1 minute. Just the fact that few people have ever heard of the SAs. Brown shirts, huh? Okay, now watch this here. The brown shirts, and the Bloods and the Crips is the same thing. That was that elite group of young thugs they sent in to terrorize the Germans, not the Jews, because until I can terrorize the people, there's a whole lot of other things I can't do to other people. Okay?
Okay, wow.
And what you had the book, The Committee of 300?
Yeah, I heard about that at University of Chicago.
Well, he talks about it. He talks about it that on page 86, how the Bloods and the Crips was created at Stanford University. Okay? And you telling me some Mexicans can come over here from Mexico and terrorize it, but they don't terrorize white colleges. They don't terrorize white neighborhoods.
Well, you know, it's funny you said it, Brother Greg. It's not funny in a ha-ha way, but I think about Chicago, the fact that it came out that the DA allowed cartels to supply 85% of the heroin in Chicago. The Mexican cartel, like it acted like it's the street gangs, but they allowed this cartel that informs on other cartels to control 85% of the heroin market up in Chicago, and people are not outraged about that.
Well, how are they going to get outraged about it when they're scared?
Yeah.
The gang was called the Blackstone Rangers. Ran by Jeff Ford.
Right, L. Ruckenshell.
And when Nixon was elected president, Jeff Ford had a front row seat at the inauguration. He couldn't even read or write.
That's so true. Now they got him locked down in Florence, Colorado, 23-hour lockdown.
What happened?
Underground.
I didn't hear you.
They got him locked down in Florence, Colorado right now at Supermax with H. Brown.
Yeah,
and
they
Larry
got who locked down?
Jeff Ford.
That's because Jeff Ford started threatening white businesses. They put a sign on called Stone Business. And that means you had to share with them. That wasn't what they recruited him for.
Oh, wow. So, it's like, you just like, well, I love talking to you because people, they really benefit from hearing your words of wisdom. And, like, this Internet has really exposed people to a lot of what you're saying. Because I always call you the thought provocateur. It's like people got to understand that it's not important that they always agree with you, but it's more important that they research what you're telling them.
Well, no. My grandmother, listen, I don't talk to them people. It's my grandmother who don't know what a computer look like, but she trusts me. I'm not talking about my I'm talking about them black folks out there that have heard me long enough. See, my whole theory is my truth don't have to be validated by somebody else's ignorance. We don't have time for that. We do not have time for that at all. And that's what trust has been about on the history of the planet, there's somebody, sometimes it's the wrong people.
Yes,
you trusted Dr. King. There's nothing they can say about Dr. King.
Before we get to Dr. King, go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
We'll interfere. So when you stop and think about it, I mean, I got people calling me, hey, man, all this stuff you're saying through, how come you're not dead? I said, I'm not dead because I'm alive.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, they can't kill me. I owe white folks too much money. You see that mess at Neiman Marcus? First they did it to Target.
Oh yeah, Target. What's your take on that? That's kind of interesting.
Wait, they didn't know about the CIA, man. That's how they getting their money. You remember when Colonel North and all of them bringing drugs in so they could affect the countries? They can ship drugs money to the countries. That's how they get their money, man.
I know they're the biggest drug traffickers on the planet. I agree with you. The CIA are the biggest drug traffickers on the planet.
And so I said, wait. Let me tell you something to do. Pan Am Flight 103. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There was 8 drug dealers that had been ordered to come back by a federal judge and face trial, and they was on that plane. Gaddafi was partners with us. All that stuff was crap, man. Help you out. One of the drug dealers lived in Youngstown, Ohio. And there was an article in the paper with a picture of her son talking about what had happened, okay? They've been doing this, man. They kill all them people.
Like Youngstown, they got a reputation for being like a gangster town, right? Is it like a gangster town? A mob town? Youngstown, Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah. Right outside of Pittsburgh.
Well, I get so
many people. You see it.
I get so many people that want to talk to you. I'm going to try to do it, but I want to get you on this King stuff. You got some information about Dr. King that I want people to hear.
Okay,
I want to play this bill.
Let a few more people talk.
All right, cool. Okay, good. Okay. We got area code 860 there. Welcome to We All Be.
How you doing, Ronald? Yes, can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing? What's your name?
It's me, Brother Eric.
Yeah, we can hear you. How you doing?
Yeah, from your friend from Facebook. My question to Mr. Gregory.
One minute. Hold on. Let me say hello to you, brother. God bless you and the family. Okay.
Yes, sorry. All right. My question, in regards to the Black Panthers and their movement, was it Caucasians that helped fund their movement? Because one friend told me that it's not. He the Black Panthers, the history, because you lived during that era when they came to rise and a sense of fall. Was it, let's say, the white supremacists helped fund their organization?
No. Didn't white folks help King movement? Didn't they help King movement? Didn't they help the NAACP and the Urban League? You got a lot of decent white folks, man, that don't like what's happening. They wasn't doing it because they thought it was a conspiracy. They were doing it because they thought it was right. And so, but let's go back and look at the Black Panthers. Huey Newton and Elvis Cleaver were punk drug dealers. Street drugs, and the government went and recruited them. And all at once you heard of, now let me just say this. Ron, are you aware when the Black Panthers went into the California state legislature with guns?
Yes, sir. Everybody's an iconic moment.
Now let me tell you something. You can't have white state troopers go in to a state legislature with guns and live, okay?
Okay.
But that made everybody, now, let me just hear this. Ron, just make like you light complected. I mean, light complected till you almost look white, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, we got black folks that's whiter than white folks, right? That live in the black community. Don't try to hide nothing. So think about if you was a cop married to a black woman, live in the black community, got children going to school, and you hear somebody say, kill all the white racist pig cops. Don't that scare you?
Yeah, it would scare me, yeah.
Because walking down the street, you think some black folks would. So why would you say that? Kill all the white, racist, pig police. And did you know in the history of the Black Panthers, they never killed a cop?
What about the Howard Johnson shooter down in New Orleans, though? Mark Xx. What was his name? Xx?
Yeah, up on the what was the hotel what he was on?
Yeah, on the rooftop of Howard Johnson downtown New Orleans. From Emporium to Kansas.
No, they got so many people out here. That jail you talked about in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many people they take down there and drug them out?
I can't imagine. We got some gulags down here.
It's like the Manchurian candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And then release them. And they program.
Mm-hmm.
And I met with a guy who's been doing that for a long time. And he said, I said, well, when they going to send them after me? He said, they always try. They can't get you. The reason is this. How do they walk into a place and just don't shoot up everybody, right?
Right.
They've been trained that is when you react with fear or hostility. Then that's when the other part kicks in. I remember I was in San Diego. 3,000 seats were full and 2,000 seats, 2,000 tickets, they couldn't get in, so they're standing outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I see this guy walking down the aisle, man, white dude.
Mm-hmm.
My audience is 90% black. Walks up on the stage like a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, come to me, brother. He walks over. I said, I love you, man. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I hugged him, and I felt his gun, right? I said, if you do this to Dr. King,
right,
he would just love you. I said, man, I ought to take this gun out your pocket and beat you to death. And he said, then help me, please help me, please help me. Please help me. Now, before this happened, the cops that came and told me, we've had some threats on your life. If anything happens, run to this door here. And after it was over, I went to the door, and the cops was out there with machine guns in the car waiting for me to come out. Right? Fear. And so when you stop and think about, when y'all pull up the Chicago Tribune, where Hoover sent a cable to the head of the FBI in Chicago to kill me. I got the cable before he did, and I gave it to a friend of mine at the Tribune. They was the whole front page story. Use mob to kill Dick Gregory. Use mob to kill Dick Gregory. And they went on to say, and just tell them, show them what Dick Gregory's been saying about him. And so they're a bunch of thugs, and they brought this whole planet down to animalistic. I shouldn't even lie on animals like that. And then I said to the mob, if I thought, on a press conference, if I thought some thugs like you could slip past the universal God that I'm praying to, I'm not talking about no church.
Right.
Then I'd help y'all pull the trigger. That's what you see when you talk about faith, expectations. When's the last time you've been on an elevator?
Oh, that's how I mean. Recently, the last couple of days.
Okay.
Within a week.
Okay.
And
what floor did you go to?
Like the 28th floor.
Okay, so now you push the button, right? Were you with anybody?
Sometimes, but last time, no.
Let's say you was with somebody.
Okay.
So you push the button. While y'all waiting on the elevator instead of y'all talking, right?
Right.
There's an expectation. You expect that elevator to come.
Yes. Yes.
Huh? The door open, y'all get on it, right? The Well, how do we have more faith in an elevator than we have in the universal God? Because we locked into the church. Listen, when I open up my lectures, I say the strongest two forces in history of America has always been the black woman and the black church. But the church and the universal force, you know what the word God means? Power. Didn't they call the mob the God power?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you see any church people get upset? All God means is power. And so I grew up and I said, don't use God's name in vain. God damn. They say, oh, no. Well, let me tell you this. If you go out to the lake out there and build a dam to dam it up, right?
Right.
You get lectured, right? Okay. So you call it God. That's the power. Dam. That's all that is. The dam. And so they got people running around. God's name, the universal God's name is I am. And when black folks finish saying the Lord's Prayer, they think they're saying amen. They're saying, amen.
You mess up somebody Sundays, man.
Who cares? Who cares? My mama, if my mama was alive and walked into your studio now, you would think the universal God spit her out. That's how pure, man. And godly she looks, right? But if you tried to explain to my mother that Jesus Christ wasn't a Christian, she would stomp you to death. Why? Because she didn't know Christianity never happened to 300 years after Jesus was dead. Okay? So you got a bunch of priests running around ripping off little boys, and you think that's connected to the universal God? Never. You think you can go to war and kill people who you don't even know? It wouldn't make no difference anyway. You put a gun and the Bible in the same house? You just canceled the good thing out? Well, who cares? Every war being fought right now is religious wars, So who cares?
Well, actually, I'm sorry, I mean, cut you off.
Go ahead.
Now, I want to ask you, like, the Panther thing, because one thing that people bring up about when you talk about Huey, because, like, people can't, they're not used to hearing this type of stuff being said like this, but they say, why did Gregory do the Panther movie back in the day?
Do what?
Did the Black Panther movie that came out back in the 90s.
Wait a minute. Hold. Did you see that movie?
Yes, sir. I saw that movie several times.
Came out.
Mr. Dodger, Sweetback. The black brother.
Mario Van Peebles?
Yeah. Mario sent it to me, right? And I say, Mario, that was his son. Melvin Van Peebles was the dad.
Okay, yeah, Melvin Van Peebles was dead, yes.
I said, Melvin, why you send me some trash like this? He said, Negro, read it and call me back. It wasn't about the Black Panthers. It was about the FBI bringing drugs and the CIA bringing drugs into the black community. That's what that was about. And those of y'all who haven't seen it, go back and look at it. That's how brilliant he was, man. And when you see that way back then and see what had finally come out, you said, wow, man, Van Peebles, my man. But I knew something was wrong. There's people out here that know everything I know. I just have a platform. But long before there was these type of radios, And so consequently I used it. You see, revolution is not in my house. So I explained to my wife that I won't be here most of the time. And sometimes you'll be with me. When, let me show you how it works, when the 3 civil rights workers was killed.
Oh, yeah, Sworn Cheney and Goodman. Yeah, Freedom Summer.
I didn't have time to move quick, so I called Hugh Hefner and said, man, I need you to slide $25,000 into this bank account. Got it.
Mm.
5 hours later, I held a press conference and said, I just put up $25,000 reward for information leading to the folks who got the children. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you need to pull this up. What I'm going to tell you now.
Yes, sir.
For the first time in the history of the FBI, they posted a reward. $30,000. Let me tell you what happened. The same guy that got in touch with them to get the $30,000 got in touch with me to get the $25,000. They didn't know I had the information. So all that time passed, and nobody could find him. The Johnson had enlisted Navy personnel,
right,
to go look for him. Let me tell you what happened. I get out to San Francisco, hold a press conference, and say I'm on my way to Hawaii, but I'm saying to the FBI, to the president, to all y'all who's looking, if them bodies is not found by tonight, then I'm going to personally come back and go under that bridge and dig them bodies up. That means they knew I knew where they were. And that's when they came up with them. But that's my life, man.
But you know what's crazy, though, Brother Dick? You know the person whose land that body was found on, Olin Burridge, he died last March of old age. I mean, he got... I mean, he never went to jail for that.
Yeah, well, maybe he didn't do it.
Oh, okay. No, but it was on his land, though. He was getting money from the government.
You know how much stuff they put on your land tonight while you doing this show?
It's dropping from the sky, like you said, like the chemtrails and all that stuff. Oh, man. This is heavy stuff. Okay.
Sure. And then he might have. Let me tell you what happened. When Medgar Evers was killed. The guy that did it, his name was...
Bardella Beckwith or something like that?
Della Beckwith, yeah. Now, what's Brother Kennedy now, right? All the land the government could have bought to build a post office on, they brought his land. That's how he got the $50,000 to get the lawyers.
Oh, wow.
Kennedy.
Well, also, let me ask you this. Was Kennedy in office when Mandela got arrested?
Huh?
Was he in the office when Mandela got arrested back in the day?
No, he got arrested immediately. That's why I said he put the money. He gonna buy land to build a post office. Sure.
I was making a reference to Mandela. I was when Kennedy was in office. That's when Mandela got arrested, right? Nelson Mandela.
When he got arrested. Yeah,
he spent the 27 years in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in office when he got arrested. No. And so what happened is that they went out and they arrested. It was 20 people involved with them young folks. They arrested 21. You hear me? The way they beat that case for so long is when they went to court and proved that one of the guys was in jail in Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
So they arrested one more than they needed. But once the jury and the press hear he was in jail, then everybody started thinking the rest of them was framed. Hoover didn't know they was going to kill him.
All right, wow.
They killed him and stole all his files.
All right, I got a special caller coming in from, he want to get in his line. I got an interesting story to share with you. Let me see if I can get him in. Hello, it's Brother Benny.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, welcome to We All Be, man. It's Brother Benny Wonder.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
God bless you. Brother Benny? Is that his name, Brother Benny?
Yeah, Brother Benny. What's your full name?
Yes, my name is
Benny. He don't have to give his full name.
That's
what he's giving.
From West Papua. Yeah, thank you for... I really privileged to hear Dr. Gregory, you talking, and this is like I'm a little bit explain about myself, who I am. I am my ancestor lived for 15,000 years in Africa continent, went down to New Guinea, and that is like ancestor. But then now I'm coming back to last men, black men who are fighting for the colonialism, injustice, and freedom, and colonial power, which is by Indonesia, under the Indonesia colonialism. Used to the Dutch colony, but now we are fighting for the second colonizer is Indonesia. So Indonesia killed my people, 500,000 men and women, and I was one of the witness, as well as I grew up in the jungle 5 years. My auntie was raped, and my family was killed because Indonesia bombed in 1977. That's I was grow up this situation, so that's why I'm now stood up trying to fight back and free my people from the Indonesian colonialism. But one thing that I really honor to hear your story, and I follow everything, and like Dr. King and yourself, and also I met Reverend James Lawson, and also there is a few people who are fighting for our people back to 60 and 50 and 70. So that's inspiring me myself, and even I grow up that situation. We don't have any book to read and follow, like Muhammad Gandhi and Nelson Mandela. And these are yourself and Dr. King give inspiration for myself to fight back and to my for free my people. But I couldn't do it because Indonesia put me in prison just peacefully leading my people to independence, and they put me.
Yes, well, let me say this to you, brother. Let me say this to you. Thank you for calling. But you notice all the problems in Africa is countries that have natural resources. And if they haven't got natural resources, there ain't no hassle. So when you look at those countries where the soldiers got brand new shoes and boots and machine guns, they don't make that in Africa. Those are the white nations. And they will control Africa for another 100 years, except they won't exist that long. Because we think they're free. Now, when you go over there, they'll kill you and say you was killed by drug dealers. And who wouldn't believe it? You know, it'll be a while. They're not run by the colonial countries. They're run by the intelligence, the Russians, the Chinese, And the Chinese is leading. The Chinese is Chinese because, see, the white folk go in and they'll build a bridge or a railroad, and they let the Africans build it while they sit and drink mint juleps. The Chinese go in, they let the Africans drink mint juleps while they build the railroad. So when they leave, they don't know no more about building the railroad than they did before. And they come out with all the natural resources. And then what they do, they let the leaders take millions of dollars and put them in Swiss banks. Swiss banks. And then after they kill the leaders, the white folk got the money. Not only the money they stole, but the money they was giving the leaders. And that'll be a while for that happen. The mindset's beginning to change, and things are beginning to change, and technology is beginning to change. And so we see a difference. But just thank you, man, for being there. And one day, let me tell you my gift to you, if you don't know it, is do the research on Uncle Tom's. In America, a tomboy is a tough girl. A tomcat is a tough cat, but when it comes my turn, it's weak. Uncle Tom is a shapeshifter, okay? A shapeshifter. It's the most powerful thing in the history of the planet. And the white folks know it. They can't do nothing about it. Ask yourself how Napoleon, who had the greatest army in the world at that time, went into Haiti where they didn't have no guns and nothing. They had sugar cane, bamboo, where they sharpened spoons down and tied it to the bamboo and beat the greatest army in the world. And then they said, well, wait a minute, something happened here. This something ain't right. Something not right. So Napoleon, and see, that's the problem we make in America. We got a lot of people trying to find a problem that don't qualify. Just because you emotional. I mean, my son came to me and said he had a brain tumor. I don't qualify to cut his head open. And so what happened is the elite folks, they said, wait, ho. Bring the army out of there. And we're going to send the scientists in. And when the scientists went in and checked it out, that's where they come up with the word voodoo. Now, Ron, when I say voodoo, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Witchcraft.
No, it's a French word. It means spiritual Adam. You can't see neither one of them. Can't see the spirit, and you can't see an Adam. You hear me? Now, it's some white folks that know that. And they know when they get through with their last trick. There's some places in Africa where white folks have never been and ain't never going. If they do, they're not coming out. That's what the word voodoo means. So then they sit down and got with America and said, okay, let's make a deal. So they said, we'll give you your freedom back. But here's the deal. We want $4 billion. They said, we have... They said, what about you trees? Now, let me just tell you this. Anywhere in the world where you're looking for valuable antique furniture, ain't it called French antique? Okay? That's from their trees. That's why they're so poor. They take all their trees. They messed up the ecology. Okay? But they won't win. Something happened. There is something else in control of this planet, brother. Let me tell you something. If we go, I read this article many years ago. If we go to we mountain climbers, right? So we want to get to the summit, right? So we go to Italy, right, and go to the mountain. The guy said, all I said to the mountain before I gave up, I came here once and failed. I tried you again and failed. I tried the third time and failed. But let me tell you something, Summit. You as tall as you ever gonna get. I'm still growing. Do you know you all that's listening when we came on the show? Do you know you're not the same person you was now? Do you realize trillions of cells that moved? Some been died, new ones is born, huh? Any of y'all that's ever been to the Grand Canyon? The Grand Canyon didn't look like that at the beginning. That's the river. That is the river from Colorado coming through there on its way to California to go to the ocean. The river ain't coming back. And I changed that whole piece. When you go to bed tonight, you're not the same person when you wake up in the morning. Your heart's different. Your hair's different. Your hair done grown. Your fingernails grow, huh? You go get them clipped off, they come back. And so just all you have to do is remember that. Who you was after last night, this is a different person today. And when you understand faith, you can't do this to me because I answer to a higher power. And I'm not talking about the Vatican. I did a joke. I said, I asked God, now that the Catholics have a Polish Pope, will we ever have a black Pope? And God said, yes, but not as long as I'm God.
I want to change it up a little bit because you got to, like I said, you have so much information. And I want to focus because we just got through another King Day. And I know you have some new information to present about the King situation with the movies and also about this assassination.
Let me do 2 things. I'm going to deal with that, but how much time we got before we do?
Oh, we got about 30 minutes.
Okay, then let me do the real King. Let me answer that. But let's call my wife and see where I am. Are you open next week this time?
Yeah, I'm open.
Okay, here's what I want you all to do. I want you all to get a tape recorder. And listen, we're going to go through the whole king thing, okay? We're going to go through the whole HIV virus thing. And what I need you to do, brother, is Dr. Peter Duesenberg, University, and he talks about, he has a book out called Inventing the AIDS Virus. And he talks about how these colleges and research folk go along with the government so they can keep getting those grants. And you have not seen, and if you can get hold of him and ask him, do he have 15 minutes or 30 minutes to be on the show, then we can do it together.
That sounds good.
With him. And then from that, then we go into the whole king piece. Okay? And so now let's go back to the new stuff. Were you able to pull up anything on the movie guy?
Oh, the movie? I got the Billy Cows talking.
No. I'm talking about when you said recently.
The MLK movie?
Yeah, the guy that did
Oliver Stone, he stepped away from it.
Oliver Stone. Who remember the tramp and the dog? See, it's people like you that made him do certain things. Let me tell you why. You see, as long as they could get by and be unchallenged, right? As long as they could shoot down. Let me tell you how it works. 50% of everybody alive in America today, they was not born when King was assassinated. 70% of people on planet Earth was not born. So that's why every 10 years, man, they got to come back and redo that story. Keep the trick going for the young people. I mean, if you think about, how many's dead, you got these new people coming, so they got to keep the trick going. They had no problem, but all at once, not just radio shows like you got, they got these shows all over the world, and your show go all over the world.
Yes, sir.
And so consequently, when Oliver Stone come up with, I had some people come in town, and they wanted to do a thing on the Kennedy. And they asked me a question, why do you call it the Kennedy shooting when everybody else called it the Kennedy assassination? I said, well, some things happen. We turn the camera off, we go over here, and I'm going to ask you, do you know? And he said, I did. I asked him, he said, yes. And I said, okay, now let's work. Now, there's certain things I don't say. But y'all hear now, y'all hear 10%. And what you heard, my mama would call the police on me if she was alive. But there's a sacred law that once you put on, I want y'all to hear this good now. Once you put on the magic glasses that the universe gives you, you can never take them off. And you never see anything like it's supposed to be. You see it as it is. And you can't force the magic glasses on nobody, your mother, your wife, your brother, your husband. Okay? And that's what it's about. You got a special thing. You know what I mean? People are billionaires and they don't take care of the brother. I don't mean negative. Or this or that. This is yours. And once you understand that, you don't violate that. I was with my oldest daughter, man, 2 PhDs in sex harassment at the workplace from the London School of Economics. We was doing something for my wife last year. And she came in town, and she said, Dad, she's real punk, man. She don't even know how to be black. She can't even ball up her fist. Call me Dad. Dad. She's 54 years old. Dad. And she said something to me, man, that frightened me. She said, Dad, out of all the stuff you've been into, which is the one that's the wildest? And I said, Kennedy being shot in Dallas. And I said, and I told her what happened in Dallas. That little punk told me, oh, there's a book out about that called The Other Side of Midnight. Come on, let me order it for you now. That blew me away. Did you know they haven't found Kennedy's brain? Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir. I heard stories about that.
Okay, now, wait a minute. Here's the president of the United States, right? He's shot. The people that shot him is not around him. So who stole the brain? Okay? Do you know that car he was in, he shot at I think it was 12-something. You know, at 4 o'clock that evening, they sent that car back. All presidential limousines is made in Indianapolis. Do you know they sent that car back there at 4 o'clock that day to be cleaned up, repaired, and pushed back into service? What were they hiding? Did you hear me?
I hear you.
That day. Okay? So now, the coffin he was in, do you know what I'm fixing to say?
Yeah, now tell me. I'm curious.
They threw it in the ocean. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, you told me that back in November. It's like Bin Laden, they buried him in the sea, right? Over the coffin.
Nothing. You have to push it up. You can get it. If I know, they tell you exactly where it is. You know? And so there's all of that stuff out there that we get a lot of our information from the people that did it. You know, I love old white Christians, man, now, because they're getting ready to go to heaven. They're trying to clean up. Give it to Dick Gregory. Okay. I'm the one that released the picture with Ron Brown with the bullet in the back of his head. And they couldn't deny it because the white folks that did the autopsy at the Armed Forces Institute of Technology brought it to me. Okay? And so consequently, what we're looking at is the whole King piece that just released the other day that Dexter had signed a contract with, what did you say the guy's name was?
Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone, right? To do the movie on King.
Right.
Okay? Now, all at once now, it breaks on King's holiday that Oliver Stone had dropped out. You have no agreement. You know? Because I wanted to do the real story on King because King had a dark side. That's what he's saying, right? I respect him. He's one of the fine human. Come on, Oliver. Come on, boy. Now, here's the trick. As long as that contract's been signed, you mean they just reached that conclusion on King's birthday, King holiday, when the whole world is standing tall and this punk thug heathen happens to say on that day, this is why we not, Oliver. Even if what you saying was true, the conspiracy part is, why did you wait to release that on the King Day? That make you part of that filthy conspiracy, huh? That's what I thought you was talking about when you said the news. The other stuff is so long, and I want to do the whole piece. The whole piece. And my wife is at some. I was thinking last night. My wife called me. She said, "I'm going to the movie. Then I won't be home. I'm going to my grandson, her basketball game." And I said, "Okay." And you know what I was thinking about?
What you thinking about?
I was thinking about parents, man. Parents who give all the time to their children and grandchildren. And then when we get a certain age, we forget about that. Well, why shouldn't we? All of us don't. There's some people that know, you know, you end up being a drug addict, an alcoholic, a thief, or blah, blah, blah. And all of that time they put in, not just raising you and feeding you and sending you to school, but going out sub-zero temperatures, Sub-zero temperatures, too. And what I do, and I'm going to do this tonight, those of you all that had children or grandchildren that had pictures, when this show is over, if you haven't got anything to do, or do it tomorrow, get all your young children's pictures. They might be like me, 82 now. But go back and get the pictures when they was born up until when they was 8 years old. And lay them out and look at them. Look at those precious little things, man. Look at them and then realize one thing. When they first come here from the universe, when you look at them, you don't see no hoes or pimps or gangsters or cops or soldiers, When they turn into that, that's after they're 8 years old. They got that at your house. And they come from that universal God. God do not make no junk. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know, billions of years as humans been on this planet, and that universal God had never made a mistake and put your thumb where your nose is supposed to be, or your mouth where your kneecap is. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
That universal God. Huh? And it don't have no punishment. It has a system called karma. Let me show you how it works. Let's say you and your family own the biggest bank in Memphis, right?
Right.
I have an account in your bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have $1,500 in the bank. You and your family have just left for your holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
You in Africa, Europe, and all that. All y'all gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I walk in the bank tomorrow. How much I said I had in your bank?
A lot of money.
No, I didn't. I said $1,500. And I walked in with a check for $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
The people at the bank, when they see that check, what are they going to do? They're going to call you in Europe or in Africa?
No.
So I got $1,500 in the bank. I'm trying to cash a check for $2,000. What are they going to tell me?
You have insufficient funds, right? You can't cash.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the universal God works. All the protocol has been set up.
Mm-hmm.
All that we in the black community, maybe the white too, I don't know white folks. We trying to make a pit bull out of God. God will take care of them. No. That's already been. That's like somebody saying, I'm going to call over there and Brother Ron said, they'll take it. No, it's already put together. Huh? There's no time limit on it. Every war we fought, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you imagine, man, how we have terrorized people all over the world? Now America's scared to go to a shopping mall?
Yeah.
Do you realize when I was a little boy, man, one of the safest places you could be was at school?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Now, mothers and fathers and parents, they frightened the whole time you're at school. Huh? What is this about?
Well,
I saw this TV the other day with this woman that was having an affair with this little boy in school. Well, he wasn't a little boy.
Right.
And they found out that he'd been coming by the house when the parents wasn't there, having sex with him. Well, when I was going to school, we knew about the men having sex with the girls.
Right.
I tell you, I wish I was in school now with women teachers. Let me tell you something. Today, women teachers, man, I'd have a perfect attendance record.
Yeah, but a lot of them, like, they nice looking, too. I noticed a lot of them nice looking. I mean, it's kind of interesting.
Who is that?
Some of the women teachers have been involved.
You ever been to a mental hospital? You know how many pretty people in a mental hospital? How many hospitals? That don't mean nothing. Are you serious? Are you crazy?
I got a call somebody from Dallas, actually. You speaking of Kennedy earlier. They want to just tell you something right quick. Brother Ike, welcome we all be.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, good, man. It's an honor to hear you, man. Thanks for listening.
Brother Ike, Big Gregory. God bless you and your family. Late Happy New Year to you.
God bless you too, Brother Gregory, and Happy New Year to you and your family.
And to you. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I'm honored to speak to you because I started listening to you about 4 years ago, and you opened my. I already had a lot of questions, but every time I ask somebody, they tell me to be quiet. I'm not supposed to ask or tell me I'm crazy, but you just gave me You just gave me confirmation that, you know, once I started to open my eyes and see who really run it, sir.
Yeah, let me tell you this to you. I have people now say, man, 20 years ago I thought you was crazy. But now I said, what makes you think I'm not crazy? How come when you get rid of your stupidity and see the truth, now I ain't crazy no more.
Right.
I can be crazy. I get most of my information from crazy folks. Are you crazy? so go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir, man. I just thank you though, because I used to go along and didn't understand all the games that was being ran. I just went along because everybody told me, you know, I was a fool.
Yeah.
And now I'm grown. I can think for myself and do my own research.
Yeah.
listening to y'all, and Brother Hurd, thank you also for just making this station available, educating us out of here. That's not able to
I appreciate no problem.
Things like that.
Ain't that lovely?
Y'all really are blessed.
Let me ask you one question. Have you seen 12 Years a Slave?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Brother, have you seen 12 Years a Slave?
Oh, yes, sir. I've seen it, yes.
Do you know they got 12 slave movies already finished and in the can?
Yeah, you told me that last time we talked, I asked you for a review
of it. Do you know that book they wrote that out of is over 100 years old?
Yes, sir.
Did anybody tell you they was making that movie before it was released?
No.
Did anybody tell you that black money went into that? So when did white folk with money think that much about me that they want to show me what happened 300 years ago?
Right.
Let me tell you what that's about. You ready? Did you see this incident that happened here in Washington at the mall yesterday?
Yeah.
Do you know they sending people in here from all over the country to deal with not just the children in schools in this area, but people, of how this trauma affects them. Well, what about me? 350 years ago, this happened to me, and you just showing it to me. Do you know what that do to my brain, man?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
There's a process, just a little here. Try to teach your little child trigonometry before you teach him arithmetic, mathematics, and geometry, okay? It'll overload you. They'll have some folks out here now doing what that dude did in the mall and have a note in his pocket. I didn't know. I just saw the slave movie. You hear what I'm saying? That's how vicious they are, man. And then we sitting out there believe, oh, yeah, I saw the movie. Yeah, it was all, come on, y'all, come on. That's how they work, and that's how they get away with it. But let me tell all y'all the power you have. I'm not talking about religion now. I'm talking about if every morning when you go to bed and every night when you wake up, in the morning you wake up, at night you go to bed, just put one thought out there, that the truth will come out. Now, that didn't say, look, if everything you've heard me say, I'm not saying prove that it's right, God. I said, let the truth come out. If this stuff they doing is not what let the truth come out. The universal order ain't going to play no favor. And with that power coming up from here, even those of y'all that think I'm stone crazy, I give it to you. If what I'm saying is not true, I'm saying you ask that universal order that the truth will come out, not that what Dick Gregory saying. And you'd be surprised what you see happening in the next 2 weeks, okay?
Yeah, I've got some more calls. People just really want to talk to you. There's a lot of just jamming up. I'm trying to get 2 more. And
okay, what time what time is it now?
It's like 8 minutes till 6.
Okay. All right, good.
All right, cool. Sister Sabrina, you on? Welcome to We All Be.
Yes, greetings. Wonderful discussion. It had me jumping from one question to another question. I want to bring up because about what I wanted to ask, and I know there's so much time, and I look forward to the show next because hopefully this that you can, Brother Dick Gregory, get into with this Magic Johnson thing. Being an activist for AIDS in the 1980s and the 1990s, I remember when looking on who actually was coming down with the disease. And it's quite interesting since a couple, I would say either last year or the year before last, one of the most, I would call it flamboyant dancers on the Soul Train came down with HIV. And one of his buddies, I would term it buddies, was Magic Johnson. And, of course, Magic Johnson steered away from that. And I'm not saying that just to bash out there, but what was happening in the 80s and the 90s was where the tests and the trials that were taking place, it was a demand that there should be for people of color. And so Magic Johnson was one of those that agitated for a drug for the people of color community. And so, obviously, with this saying here of saying he didn't have it, it presents a terrible situation because it reminds me of a leader within ACT UP where he claimed after he gotten money for these programs and trials and the activist work we are doing, come to find out that he did not have AIDS. So this takes the obstacle on the work of HIV and AIDS activism around the world. Now, my question is this. If he's saying he does not have it, what does it mean as for those trials and everything of where the foundations that were put in place in getting HIV money? That needs to be the rule of the question there. Then, wonderful surprise, because this day, the way it is now in the technology is that a person with having HIV can take the medicines that are deemed necessary, and it does not come up showing visible.
Yes, let me just say this now. Ron, we'll come on next week. That's predicated that Lil tell you those dates are open, and I hope they are. You got the doctor's name I gave you that wrote the book?
Yes, sir. I got it.
What's the name?
It's like Duesenberg, Professor Duesenberg. Peter Duesenberg.
He's from UC Berkeley.
UC Berkeley.
And the book he wrote is what?
I don't know the book. I'm going to Google it up right now.
I gave it to you.
Now, you gave me his name. You said he was a book he wrote about that.
Inventing the AIDS virus.
Okay.
Miss,
got it.
Run out there and get that book and let her know how she can get on early next week when we're talking about it, or get her number and we'll call her.
Okay.
And even if we can't get him on, when you read this book, it will blow you away. Now, let me tell you the pain that I've had. You hear what this sister just said? I've had pain when people come to me and say, Greg, we doing this AIDS virus rally. I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. Now, I would never say what the reason I couldn't, because there's serious people out there that have AIDS, and they come to me, and I said, well, just go ahead and do your rally, but I can't, because once I show up at a rally, and once I talk about it, all at once, I legitimize it. Huh?
Yes,
I legitimize it. And I'll legitimize that just as soon as I would the CIA, the FBI, and all of these thugs. Huh? There's good FBI, and no, all of them. There was good Nazis. Huh?
That's
there
right.
was good Nazis. I mean, but you're all part of the same. Let me tell you how I legitimize it. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to a peace rally. Round trip, first class. My ticket will cost $15,000. When I get that ticket and pay tax on it, the United States government get it. They use part of that to make drones, poison food, kill babies. I'm part of it. Huh? I'm part of that. Huh? All the work I do don't mean a damn thing. I'm part of it. Father, I can't be part of that. Why? I got 10 children. I never had an affair with my wife to create another God. Every baby I got, the universal God didn't ask me, what college did you go to? Right? What kind of job you have? Huh? He gave me the gift. Now, here's the horrible part. When I look in the mirror, me, and realize I never bought a car. I didn't know the year, the make, the model, the down payment, the tax, the license plate of the year, all the stuff I paid for that car. And I realized I've done more planning to own a raggedy car than to create God's new life. I was just getting me some rip-off. So you're going to look at me and think, I'm so clean? I know me, huh? And I know one of the greatest violations I've ever made is that God gives me the right to create another God. And and I was just getting me some booty, man.
That's what everybody be saying down in court.
I don't care what anybody say. Did Gregory this? He's never been caught up in no scandal. He's never been this. He's never been that. I'll be 82. Never smoked a reefer in my life. Because I didn't know then what they do with it. There's 3 types of marijuana, probably more now. Light green, dark green, and gunyon. And y'all go out there because you don't know no better and just buy some stuff off the corner and don't know what the CIA and the FBI done put in it? And then wonder why you so crazy? Huh? And then let me just say this. Grandmother and Grandpa tonight is walking down the street to go to the Walgreens and CVS to get their arthritis medicine, to get their heart medicine. And they got to walk through some black thugs on the corner selling dope that came out of a black woman's belly, wouldn't dare go in a white community and sell it where the white folks bring it in. And we let them punks stand on the corner. Forget you and me, grandmother, limping down to the drugstore. And she got to speak to them thugs and peacefully coexist because her pain is so bad. And y'all sitting around here talking about this and talking about that. And Grandma, it's our problem along with hers. Because we don't go on that corner and say, boy, you came out of my belly. I know you will kill, but kill me first since I produced you. Huh? Kill me first. Huh? You won't do that. Huh? Them things have been unleashed on the whole community, and you ain't traced it back to you. That's what they go through, them old folks, crying. All they know is Jesus. All they know is this. Have never stolen anything in their life. And let me tell you something. White folks know how good we are. You think anybody would take a slave that what we've been through and let you take care of their children, let you cook for? They know who we are. We don't know who we are. Huh? Every slave, look in all your Bibles, never broke the chains in less than 5,000 years, except us. In 300 years, we broke the chains. What? Yeah, how? Thought they were stealing a worker, they were stealing a scientist. I was smarter than I built the pyramids. Punk, now you trying to make like somebody from another planet built them, but you won't admit this. It's aliens. Okay? And so when you understand who we are, understand who that sister is, understand who she is. A black woman's the only woman on the planet. Hear me now. The only woman on the planet, man, that can take a butter knife and cut your tires down to the rim. And she ain't got no books. She ain't going to no special school. She don't go out like she's faking going to yoga class and learning it. You know what I'm saying? And that damn tire got a 20-year guarantee by white folks. Don't mean nothing to the sister when you push that button. And then finally, let me say this. This white racist system have convinced brothers and sisters that the sister is so ugly. If I'm by your house this weekend to finish up a book and I got a problem with my eyes, where would you take me?
To the doctor.
If I had trouble with my foot, where would you take me?
The foot doctor.
If I had trouble with my gums, where would you take me?
Dentist.
So, if you go in the black community and you see something called a beauty parlor, go in the white community, they ain't called beauty parlors. I've been convinced, black man and white black woman, that we so ugly, you go to a place called a beauty parlor that's going to make you beautiful. And you're so sure you're so ugly that you make an appointment on your way out to come back next week.
Yes, sir.
Well, how do we get that out of our head? How do we understand I carried my wife to Russia with me one time. I used to go every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I carried her. They got subways over there that 30 million people, right? In Moscow, every day. So we get on. They 3 miles down, man. So and cleaner than our hospitals and more beautiful than our opera houses. So we get on it, and I'm standing there, and she's standing there, and these Russian people started looking at her. And then one of them came up and touched her face with a finger. Then another one came up. It's like I wasn't even there. And Leo looked at me and he said, I don't believe you letting these folks do to me what you. I said, dear, let me tell you. So I whispered in here. I said, whenever I defend your honor, the odds be a little bit better than 30 million to 1. So let's get off this train at the next stop, get a cab, and go to the hotel, and we ain't figure this out by 4 o'clock this morning. Let's get out of here. So we get there, and I said, let me tell you something. I've been coming over here for 5 years, and they ain't never looked at me. So it ain't your blackness. It's the fact that they have never seen a black woman. You wasn't in the movies back in those days, huh? Black men or soldiers go all over the world and kill for this tramp, okay? But they never seen a black woman, and when they see you, they see the most gorgeous thing. They're like a little child putting their hand in the bowl where your mother just finished making cookies, huh? That's who you are, huh? And until we start working to rehabilitate that filth we have in our head, in our mind, huh?
Yes, sir.
In our mind. Then, but the youngsters is coming through now. They got you believing. You have any children, brother?
No, I don't have any kids.
You have any brothers or sisters with children?
No, they're younger than me, so no.
Okay, you got any friends with children that's been to college?
Yeah, I got friends with children. Yes, sir.
You have any friends that's successful?
That's successful kids?
They're children, yeah. They're children with successful jobs.
Yes, sir. I guess they would. I mean, it's hard to tell. I guess they are.
No, I'm talking about the people that's listening now.
Oh, yeah. They got people. They got different all types of backgrounds.
I got a daughter with 2 PhDs in sex harassment at the workplace. Why am I telling you this? Because if she wasn't my daughter, I wouldn't know that existed. Because the New York Times is not going to tell you.
Yes,
they're going to show you all the filthy stuff out here. Okay? But you black folks listen to me know there have been successful black folks. That was the great thing about Johnny Johnson when he created Jet and Ebony magazine. All over the world saw black folks in powerful positions. Okay? Black folks in powerful positions. But you're not going to see it on television. You're not going to see it nowhere, huh? I got a son that's one of the best chiropractors in America. I wouldn't have known that if he wasn't my son. I got a son that's one of the best, probably one of the best charter schools in the world. He runs it, okay? All right? I have a daughter in New York that's bureau chief for all sex crimes and murders, 15 and down, in Brooklyn. If it wasn't my daughter, I wouldn't know it. All I'm trying to tell you is not me. They out there. But why you going to let you pick up some filth? They're going to show you, but don't show you the other side. That's all I'm saying. Somewhere. And I've been blessed. And it go back to the Civil Rights Movement, the NAACP, and Antioch Baptist Church, okay?
I want to ask you 2 quick questions before you go. It's an honor to have you on. I know we ran a little bit over. I want to ask you about your thoughts about Amiri Baraka, who just passed away recently. You have any stories?
In the old days, his name was Leroy Jones.
Yes, sir.
One of the brilliant writers, huh? One of the brilliant writers. You got a lot of folks that went into poetry. Because black folks didn't have nothing to do with no poetry for a long time. They thought he was crazy if you was. Because of his writings. And what a brother. What a brother. What a brother. And thanks for asking about him.
Oh, no problem. It was on my mind. I got to get that in. And also, it's this thing, I believe that Nelson Mandela passed away back in June. Do you believe that he was dead before?
Look. When the president went there to see him, the most powerful man in the world, and you're not going to let him in the room? You know, something was up.
what is your perception of his legacy now he's passed? I know you said that you can't forgive him for what he did to Winnie.
No. That's me and you. That's me and you.
Okay.
Okay, somebody asked me about that, and I said it's too close to his death.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can forgive all them white folks,
mm-hmm.
that killed and used research, they did head transplants on black folks.
Right.
Okay? And you can forgive them, but you can't forgive a black woman? You can't, but you can forgive them white folks? That kind of says something about you.
Mm.
And 6 months ago, 9 months ago, they voted in Cape Town to name a street after him, not a city, and them white folks voted it down.
Mm.
Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Voted it down. So anyway, that's called Lil, and we'll be ready to hit.
That sounds cool. I appreciate it. And one more thing before I let you go. The King family situation with Harry Belafonte and the King family, and also Andrew Young and the King family. Do you have any thoughts about that, the legal wrangling that's going on right now?
No, but I talked to Martin, and, there's a whole lot of stuff happens when stuff come out of probate. There's a whole lot of stuff when people and you got a family that's controlling things. Mom and dad is gone.
Right. That's right.
I mean, do we forget that Harry didn't show up at
Coletta's?
Yeah, probably wasn't invited. But I'm saying, I don't know a lot of stuff. I asked Martin. He said him and Andy had a little hassle about some intellectual property. He said he thought they was going to iron it out. Well, what's the best thing to do? I'd rather go to court than get some guns and have a shootout.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's the right way to do it. Yes, sir. Brother Gregory, thank you so much, and I love it. That's a great name. We love you, man.
To all your listeners, thank you.
And I'm sorry. Y'all get them next time. With so many people calling in, y'all get them next time. Thank you.
Okay, babe. Thank you much.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.